Hey, what's going on, No Nation? It's CJ Wilson here to bring you some recruiting updates. It's around that time. We're getting real close to signing day. December 20th will be here right before you know it. The regular season is over. Coaches are on the road recruiting and doing those type of things. So we're going to get into some names that the Seminoles are looking to close this 2024 recruiting class with and go ahead and finish that top three ranking. Before we get started, On the Trail is brought to you by Realtor Jude Paul. Jude is a realtor in Southwest Florida, but services the entire state of Florida. Where you're trying to buy your home and sell your home, Jude is your guy. Again, if you're trying to buy your home or sell your home, Jude is willing to donate 20% of the closing costs back to you. So again, 20% of the closing costs goes right back in your pocket. And also, Jude is a big time FSU fans and knows like to help our knows. So again, if you buy your home or sell your home with Jude, he's willing to donate some of the proceeds to the Battles End Collective. Again, he's willing to donate the proceeds to the Battles End Collective. You know how important the Battles End has been for FSU within the 2023 season. So again, tap in with Jude Paul. He'll definitely take care of you. The website is www.homesforknows.com. Again, www.homesforknows.com. It's going to be an interesting weekend for FSU as some big time recruits will be on campus for official visits for the Florida State Seminoles, as well as just some other recruiting news and things like that for commits and other guys that FSU is pursuing as far as visit from other coaches and things like that. We won't go ahead and jump into the big fish. The number one player in the country, Jeriah Smith, 5-star receiver out of South Florida, Chaminade, will be on campus for an official visit to FSU. It's been not necessarily trending, but there's been some positive vibes for Jeriah Smith to FSU within recent months. He did play in the state championship game this past Thursday morning in Tallahassee at Bragg Memorial Stadium on FAMU campus. Finished the game on 11 catches, 170 yards, and one touchdown. So another state championship in the book for Chaminade. And after that, he will go ahead and take his official visit to FSU. I know Ron Dukins and Coach Alice Atkins were on the sideline for the state championship to take a look at Jeriah. Big time receiver prospect, one of the best receiver prospects we've seen within the last couple of years. Probably one of the best receiver prospects in the state of Florida for quite some time as well. Big physical speed guy, can do everything: routes, strength, hands, you name it. Jeriah Smith is a total package. What you want in a receiver is Jeriah Smith. Julio Jones type of receiver. He is committed to Ohio State. FSU has been a steady in this recruitment. He did take some unofficial visits to FSU from the summer leading up to now. He was on campus for the win against the Miami Hurricanes. And he was also in Orlando for FSU's win over the LSU Tigers. Loved both atmospheres and things like that. Had glowing reviews. I know Mike Norvell was Jeriah Smith's first official offer way back in his freshman year when Mike was a first-year head coach and things like that. And Mike Norvell's message to Jeriah was pretty cut and dry. Come to FSU. I'm going to turn this thing around. I'm going to flip this program. And by the time your senior year comes around and things like that, FSU will be back to the standard of FSU. And Lord behold, Mike Norvell was true to his word and flipped the fortunes around for FSU. As you know, we went 10-3 last year and 13-0 this year. So Jeriah sees that. He also stated over the summer, and people thought he was, BS, but Jeriah even doubled down on it. He said they feel like Coach Norvell is the best head coach in the country. And he also stated he feels like Keon Coleman is one of the better receivers in the country as well. So long story short, Ron Dugan's receivers coach has done an excellent job with recruiting Jeriah Smith. And, the ties he has with South Florida. You get him on campus for this official visit. Jeriah did state this will be the last visit he will take prior to signing day on December the 20th. And it's an official visit, right? So I think FSU did a great job in playing the cards with Jeriah Smith, using unofficial visits over the summer and leading up to this point in time. Nothing but unofficial visits. Now, to have that last official in their back pocket when other teams like Georgia, Florida, the Miami Hurricanes, and of course Ohio State, the team he's committed at, burnt those official visits over the summer. FSU stayed the course and stayed consistent in their approach, and now they have the last official visit heading into signing day, which is very big, very big. As you guys know how big official visits can be in recruitments and how much of a lasting effect they could take on recruits after taking official visits. So to have that within their back pocket this upcoming weekend with signing day a couple weeks away is a good sign. And also Mike Norvell, each head coach has one in-home visit with recruits. With the high school kids, the head coach could take one. Could take one in-home visit with high school kids. Assistant coaches off field, they could take multiple, but head coaches can take one. Mike Norvell also has that in his back pocket as well. So I do expect Mike Norvell to be on the road either next week or the week, next week. Matter of fact, it will be next week. I think that's the last before the dead period leading up to signing day. Mike Norvell will be down in South Florida to do an in-home visit with Jeriah Smith as well. I like where FSU stands within this recruitment. We'll see how the official visit goes, but I think FSU is in a good spot to pull off the massive flip of Jeriah Smith. Just again, the offense and what Mike Norvell and what we can do with the receivers and things like that, I do think that has Jeriah Smith's attention. So we'll see how that thing plays. We'll see how things play out on this official visit this weekend to Tallahassee. I'm very excited for that visit. It's been something that I know Nation and just, I guess fans of recruiting period have been looking forward to for a long time. I know Ohio State, they've been sweating this out to the finish line. So we'll see how Ohio State fans, they've been sweating this out to the finish line as Jeriah Smith has been, taking other visits and things like that. We'll see how things play out down the stretch. Jeriah did state the teams that are in contention for his signature on signing day is the Ohio State Buckeyes, of course, the team is committed to, and the 3 in-state teams in Florida State, Florida, and the Miami Hurricanes. Let's go ahead and stick with the receiver. LaWayne McCoy, longtime FSU committed over the summer to the Florida State Seminoles. Over the spring to the Florida State Seminoles. 4-star receiver out of Miami Central. He will be on campus for his official visit. His recruitment is kind of weird as well, but just to kind of give a little backstory and kind of tie things together, that's kind of interesting. Him and Jeriah Smith have a pretty close relationship. They did play youth football together in Miami with the Miami Garden Ravens. So that could be an interesting tie-in as well. But speaking of LaWayne McCoy himself, he committed to FSU in April, didn't take a visit to Florida State the rest of the spring or the entire summer, and he took multiple visits to the Miami Hurricanes. The Hurricanes were starting to trend within that recruitment. I know Miami fans was really confident, thinking they could pull off the flip of LaWayne McCoy. Lo and behold, FSU and LaWayne was able to iron things out. He did take a visit to the LSU and FSU game in Orlando, and it was a wrap from there, in my opinion. I think that's when LaWayne kind of sold up his recruitment and locked things down officially with FSU. The Miami Hurricanes buzz has died down, and I do expect LaWayne McCoy to be in this class. I like this kid a lot. Real nice frame, around 6'1", 170 pounds. Can play offense and defense, makes a lot of plays. I know when Chaminade and Miami Central played earlier in the season, LaWayne McCoy made a lot of plays for Miami Central against the powerhouse in Chaminade, who has big-time players all over the field. So again, to get to get LaWayne McCoy back on campus for his official visit to lock things down, I think FSU did a really good job in closing that recruitment. I'm really excited about LaWayne McCoy. I like that kid a lot. Another official visit, defensive tackle, 3-star defensive tackle from North Carolina, Denarius White, will be on campus. I like this kid a lot as well. Nice frame. He will be on campus for his official visit. I know the Miami Hurricanes as well. They are also a team that's recruiting Denarius pretty heavily as the coaches went in home for the visit. He's from Concord, the Charlotte area, and I'm pretty interested. I was wondering if Denarius will show up to the ACC championship versus the Louisville Cardinals. Not exactly sure if he did, but nonetheless, FSU did play in his backyard this past weekend. Like I said, the Miami Hurricanes is a team that's in this recruitment as well, as Mario Cristobal and others went and took an in-home visit. So you have, of course, you got Tennessee's recruited him, South Carolina, Miami Hurricanes. I think FSU is in a real good position for Denarius, 3-star, 6'3.5", 327 pounds. The type of defensive tackle we need in the trenches, the type of defensive tackle frame-wise that we need to recruit and attack. So, again, I like this kid a lot. Physical, control the line of scrimmage. I do think FSU is in a good spot to possibly land a commitment for Denarius White. He will be on campus this weekend for an official visit. FSU is in a very, very good spot. I would like to include him within this class to add to the top 3 recruiting class in the 2024 rankings. I know this is something. This is a guy that we've been talking about for a long time, and it's been trending for a long time within the recruiting world buzz, and that's LJ McCray, 5-star defensive tackle out of Daytona Beach, Florida, Mainland High School. He's committed to the Florida Gators, right? He committed to the Florida Gators over Florida State Seminoles, and I know Florida State was trending in his recruitment and did a late push after Florida was the perceived favorite for a long time. Long story short, he did end up going with those summer vibes, so to speak, and committing to the Florida Gators. But that hasn't stopped FSU in the pursuit of LJ McCray. A couple weeks after committing to the Florida Gators, LJ was on campus for the Miami Hurricanes game and see FSU get that big time win, the big time atmosphere in Doak Campbell Stadium. And that left a little impression with LJ as well. And also having the Florida Gators go on a 5-game losing streak to close the season only helped FSU in regards to, being unsure about the Gators and things like that. And Florida also fired their defensive line coach and haven't hired another defensive line coach as of yet. So again, a lot of things that kind of unfolded within Florida that kind of got, not necessarily got FSU back in the door. I think the door is still left open, but have LJ still, hear out FSU's pitch to him. He was in Tallahassee this past Thursday for the state championship game. Shout out to the Mainland Bucks. They ended up winning the state championship for the 2023 season. Big time. I want to give a shout out to the head coach Travis Rowland, former BCU Wildcats myself. Ended up winning the state championship. Long story short, so again, Mainland Bucks won the state championship, and I do think LJ will be staying over in Tallahassee for a little bit to take an unofficial visit to FSU and just to iron out last-minute details and visit with the staff one more time. So that's big time for this FSU staff to get LJ McCray back on campus again right before signing day, right? So big time. You had it for the Miami game. You see how FSU has been playing. I think he was also on campus. I think he was on campus, if I'm not mistaken. At the Florida Gators game, he was on campus in Gainesville to watch FSU's defensive line dominate that game as well. And also, you fast forward to the ACC championship. Jerry Verse, he had a hell of a day. Patrick Payton, of course, Braden Fitz. That defensive line dominated the entire line of scrimmage for Louisville and pretty much just took over the entire game. So for LJ, I think that was pretty impressive just to see that defensive line output and only help FSU's chances. We'll see how things play out towards signing day, but I think FSU is in a good spot with LJ McCray still, even though he's committed to Florida. With all the uncertainties, like I said, that's happened within Florida the last couple weeks. 5-game losing streak, commitments being shaky. Hell, the transfer portal with some of their best players, that's been shaky as well with some of their best players entering, along with not having a defensive line coach in play, has opened the door a little bit back for FSU. FSU is a model of consistency in regards to the coaching staff and things like that, and of course winning and defensive line play. So I do think that has LJ's attention. We'll see how things plays out once he takes this visit to FSU following winning the state championship for the Mainland Bucks. Something I'm pretty sure that the Florida Gators will be sweating out until to the very end. A few more names I want to highlight as far as official visits to FSU this weekend. I'm not going to spend too much time on them, but FSU offensive lineman commitment Jalen Todd, he's going to be on campus for an official visit, along with Tamir Hickman Collins, linebacker out of South Carolina. He will be on campus for his official visit. Jamori Flagg, defensive tackle out of the Miami area, and Jaden Parrish, linebacker from the Miami area as well. They will be on campus for their official visits this weekend. Real quick, I won't spend too much time on these guys as well, too. They will be taking their official visits next weekend, and I'll jump into that on a later show next week. But just want to highlight that KJ Bolden is being pursued by Auburn and the Georgia Bulldogs. Both head coaches went in-home, took a visit with KJ Bolden. I do expect Mike Norvell to do that in-home visit with KJ Bolden next week, leading up to his official visit to FSU next week. Again, I think FSU did a good job in playing their cards with KJ as well, keeping that official visit in their back pocket. And also Armondo Blount, the 5-star defensive end commitment out of Miami, Florida, Miami Central to be specific. He took an unofficial visit to Miami. He also hosted the Miami Hurricanes for an in-home visit, Mario Cristobal and company. This is going to be something to watch out as well for it too. I think FSU staff, Coach Odell Haggins, defensive coordinator Adam Fuller, and our defensive end coach John Pachuas, they were in home as well this week with Armondo Blount. well, it's going to be something to watch down the stretch. As you guys remember, this recruitment was wild and has been wild leading up to signing day. He was trending towards FSU pretty heavily in the month of August. The Miami Hurricanes came out of nowhere and stole and wrapped up his commitment and committed to Miami. Then he kind of opened things up after the Miami. I think started flirting with FSU a little bit throughout the season. Opened things up from the Miami Hurricanes, decommitted from them, and committed to FSU, and also reclassified from the 2025 class to the 2024 class. So within that time frame, Blount has still been speaking and in communication with the Miami Hurricanes. We will see how things play out down the stretch. I do expect Mike Norvell to go on home next week. And also, like I said, he has an official visit to FSU next week, but this is something to monitor. We'll speak on that a little bit more next week. But it's going to be an interesting weekend in Doak Campbell Stadium. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. Again, like this video and subscribe to the channel. We have more recruiting news as we get closer to signing day. It's going to be pretty interesting. A lot of fireworks will be shot. So again, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Go Noles.